Okay. Hello everyone. This is the start of our weekly meeting. We should get right into it since we've been waiting a while. I like to see that everyone has had a good day. I've also had a good day. Um, uh, so what was everyone's highs and lows this week?
I got the COVID vaccine today.
Really?
Yeah,
How? Just
yeah.
curious.
I'm not protected though until I get the next one.
Okay,
Okay.
But
that's
like
good.
half done, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any lows?
Mhm.
Not really. No, we're chilling.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, Mila, do you want to go?
Sure. Um, my high is that I got to go to the beach today,
Really?
which was very exciting. Um, and a low is that I have no lows, actually. This has been a good week.
That's awesome. Um, my high this week was that I went over to my brother's house. Originally, I was just gonna hang out for a few hours, but then we ended up like having a double sleepover. Freaking awesome. And we just drew on his walls the whole time. Like we just painted on his walls. Because I mean, like he's young, he bought a house. That's what I guess young people do instead of making mature decisions. And then my low was, you know how it is during vacation, you kind of waste a lot of time. So that's a low for me. Um, all right. So has everyone gotten their 5 survey thingy things? That's good. I'm actually not sure if I got my 5 because I just basically sent it to people and I don't know if they filled it out. Hopefully they did because that would suck. All right, we should go into weekly reports. I can start if you'd like. This week I sent out the survey results. We had that meeting yesterday, and that's about it. Yeah.
I can go. This week, well, I led last week's meeting, which felt pretty productive. We got a lot of things done. And we had a meeting for the COVID webinar yesterday, in which we sort of discussed the plan for moving forward and how we're gonna schedule that whole thing, which I'm hoping to talk about later today.
Sweet. I was thinking through two things. One of them solution oriented of, hey, here's a potential solution of what if we also had like a temporary sort of student run health clinic, as in like we have like the long-term issue of, hey, how do we solve healthcare, and we're going to educate the public, right? But the short-term solution could be, hey, for the people who don't have enough money to do these annual checkups, or they're scared because of the money, or they just have some reason why they don't like hospitals, or even if you just don't feel like you're personally connected with your physician, we can offer like a student run health clinic. And we would kind of do very, very, very rudimentary processes and tests. I know, Zach, you kind of touched upon working on like blood pressure tests, all of that. So it is really possible that we can explore that a bit. And then the second thing is reorganizing, restructuring the team so that instead of having to like check in with this person, check in with this person, check in with, we can just block out, have our weekly Wednesdays to get back together, and then we can do our own separate things within two teams. So that's basically the general idea. And then the last thing would be, I want to do this one feedback thing on over the weekend. Like if everybody can just go on to Slack, press my profile, do the Calendly thing, it's really painless. And we'll just set up some time over the weekend where I'm going to ask, we're going to review your kind of feedback form, like nothing bad. And then we're going to check and see what you specifically want to gain out of this experience. I know for me, I want to kind of learn how do you kind of start something up, and two, how you go about helping people and getting that word out, because it's so difficult to offer something and like get eyes on it. So I want to learn those two things through this experience. And then also lastly, would love to just keep on practicing communicative skills. So those are my 3 goals. I'll be asking what your goals are, and I'm going to like keep track of that, and we'll check in probably a month later even. And we'll see how far we're progressing with those goals, and we'll just keep those goals as the overarching theme for you guys.
All right. Josh, we were just going over our weekly reports. If you want to give yours.
Yeah. So basically, what I did was I'm in the process of maybe talking to a new recruit for our team, and I think I sent out the survey to like 3 people. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right. So Jeremy touched on, he already basically talked about the splitting groups. So I was thinking we could add age and gender to the survey, because I think we're talking a lot about getting like specific groups, but we don't even know their age or gender, which I feel like could possibly be relevant. What do you guys think of that?
I definitely agree, especially with age, because I think that as you get older, your opinions on healthcare change as you learn more about systems and how you're involved in them. And I think gender would be a good component too to analyze later on too. So.
Yep, I agree. Well, of course I do. I was the one who brought it up. So what else? The vaccine webinar, we talked a bit about that, and I guess basically what we were doing was yesterday we met and we were trying to figure out how to advertise it, how to get it to people. And also we wanted to figure out some myths we could talk about during the webinar. And so I think right now what we're doing is just trying to figure out what to do first, right? Or honestly, we're holding it back a bit until we know a bit more what exactly we want our solution to be. So that's not so relevant this week. But Jeremy, I did want you to talk a bit more, just for Josh's sake, about like our founding work and our organization direction and stuff like that.
Yeah, cool. And then if you want to like sum it up in the recap, it might be helpful because maybe people aren't. Yeah. So the idea is we go into like 2 specific groups and we like split up sort of weekly work, in that some of us are going to do, I guess right now, to a lot of people, the more boring stuff of, hey, we're going to do this and we won't see the impact of it for a long time, but it gives us a groundwork. So I'm talking about like the market interviews, the later on ideation of the solution, and all of that, right? That kind of part of the Spark curriculum is walking through all of those plans, and it takes 8 weeks. So by the time that 8 weeks is over, we should be good to go on that front. Now, while that's happening, and obviously that's currently, I don't think a lot of people enjoy that part because it really is like worthless as of now, but it gives us a lot of insight and making sure that we don't cut back. But the other team is going to work on more solution oriented stuff. So what that means is we're pretty confident, just looking at the stats that we have now, that a course is optimal. So like we can use the long-term course teaching. And so the solution team can kind of work on that. And they can also work on like creating a brand. So that sort of thing, I know we don't have a lot of training in, but solution team can kind of explore that. And they can kind of be, I guess, the core team that we have now initially, because what the 2 teams basically are going to turn into is the ideas part and then the work part. But then we'll combine again after the 8 weeks or so. So the initial idea is just, hey, we're going to just split up into the founding team and the solution team, and we'll just like work on those. You can have meetings at any point in time. We're also taking away like any sort of hierarchical structure. We're both gonna get led by the board, and we'll just like care for our own sort of team, if that makes sense. And then on Wednesdays we can kind of talk more amongst ourselves because the board currently isn't very active. So we can kind of check over each other too and offer each team ideas as well. So it's a little more work, I think, but overall it's gonna just, we're gonna have like separate group chats and it'll be separate, so it's quicker communication between less people. So that's the general idea. We also had the polls go out, and I believe we have every single person but Jonathan, and he'll check his Slack pretty soon, and we'll get that split up. And I'm not sure what you guys are down with, but I'm kind of down splitting into them this week.
That works, I think. Does anyone disagree?
I agree. But I also have a question. I'm not sure if I missed this when you were talking, but are we going to have meetings together as well? Like every so often?
Yeah, so because we're split into smaller groups, it's not necessary anymore to kind of, at least in my opinion, to kind of plan this stuff out and make it very strict. So that kind of means, hey, are you guys free on Wednesday? Or hey, are you guys free on Thursday night, 6 p.m., whatever. So because you're only going to be in a group with 4 people now instead of all people. And so I think that might help with communication. And then um, we're also gonna try. I think the general idea in my mind too is, at least for the team that I'm gonna be on, I'm gonna try and play a more of a supportive role rather than like I'll make all the ideas. So we're also gonna do it that way, and we'll see if everybody's like comfortable enough to start being really proactive about things and like, I don't know, going above and beyond consistently.
The only thing I'm worried about is there starting to be like a disconnect between like members of our organization, because we already, I feel, have like a little bit of a rift between the board and the coordination team. And I'm worried that that's going to happen in the coordination team itself if we split up into more groups, and we're never going to know like what the other people are doing. And I don't know. I just feel like there will be that new barrier, especially since we're all online. So I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, that's kind of, I never thought about that. What do other people think?
I think that the solution lies somewhere along having group tasks that we can complete together. Where maybe where the business and the solution coincide. There's probably some stuff there that we can work on together. And also, I know it just means more time to the organization, at least for some people. But I think that having possible team building, just like fun stuff, maybe like watching, like literally just watching a movie over Zoom or something like that could help keep us together in the future. But on the short term, I think that I think in the short term, we're fine. That'll be something at least a few weeks down the road. Hello, Bobby. Sorry.
Hi. So,
Hello.
hi. So another thing, well, just kind of to go off of that, I guess, kind of losing my train of thought, but I suppose if we had like the solution group working on certain projects, the founding group could like support that with, does this follow our mission? Like, how can we, I don't know, work this into what we are as an organization, something like that.
So does that kind of put us into like board and cord within the cord? Is that the general premise of that?
Oh,
I don't think so, because I mean the board is more disciplinary, I feel like, and I mean also they're not doing much right now, so we might as well just like temporarily have it like that.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I don't think that really puts any negative atmosphere anywhere.
Cool. And then also just to play devil's advocate, because I'm honestly curious, I don't really know the right answer. How does that address the disconnect too? Is it that there's gonna be more like projects that the core team's gonna work on, and then the connection would be the pseudo board would kind of oversee that, and would the pseudo board work on like other stuff as well?
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think that the idea is that the founding team would just be double checking basically with the solution team to make sure they're in the right direction. And also, I think that not every task has to be split between founding and solution. Like, I think we can probably do some tasks together.
I think at the same time, sorry, I'm talking a lot, but I think at the same time, maybe while working with the solution team, the founding team can like do their interviews or like their market things or their Spark curriculum stuff, you know?
Yep.
Just to better make the mission or something. Yeah. And also what I was going to say is I think that we need to have like designated meetings for everybody that everybody needs to come to. Maybe not weekly Wednesdays. Maybe they can be weekly Wednesdays, but they don't have to be every week. Because that way we can keep both groups together at some point and do like weekly reports and maybe have like fun meetings like Zach said.
I just wanted to quickly touch on what we've been talking about for Bobby's sake. Basically, we've been talking about splitting into two groups, a more solution related group and a more like founding the business related group. I think did Bobby fill out that? Did you fill out that survey, Bobby?
Yeah, I believe I did. And you had tapped on previous meeting or message that there was a plan to form two groups, like you said.
All right. So we also talked a little bit. I mean, we had our weekly reports and we basically talked a tiny bit about our healthcare survey and stuff like that. So I think, yeah. Do we have anything else that we should talk about? Does anyone else have anything they want to say?
I might sum up because I'm taking notes right now on that. If I'm just gonna sum up what I've been listening to, and then like let me know if I need to add anything or if anything's wrong. So I've got current idea is we want to go into these two groups, but we're afraid of this disconnect that potentially might happen as we've seen before. So what this kind of entails is we're gonna do more sort of, we're gonna split up, but we're also gonna try and get both groups doing something together, which kind of translates into the founding group double tracking a little bit of doing their own thing a little, and also overseeing and checking in, making sure it's all mission oriented when we find a mission. And then one follow-up question with that I'll leave like for thought is, would the core team need to, or would the solution team need to do any double tracking and like also kind of oversee what the founding team's doing? That's one question.
Sorry, yeah, I can answer it now. You can continue.
Okay. You can go this way. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that I definitely think that the solution team should like touch in with the founding team, because I think they could definitely have great ideas, even if they're not doing the legwork, I guess. And I also think it's just a good idea as a whole, as an organization, to know what everyone's doing. So yeah.
So does anybody else want to touch upon that before I give a solution to that? Okay, so I was thinking too that when you said that, maybe we make it a requirement of like anytime you're gonna do a meeting, try and have 24 hours in advance, like announce it to the whole team. So maybe it's just 4 people having a meeting, But if you want other people to kind of get in on this, then just announce it 24 hours in advance. And then that way everybody has a chance to see and maybe plan for that.
Mhm.
And that would just eliminate all the disconnect, because in case they wanted to, well, just keeping everyone informed with what the other groups are doing and able to allow them to participate if need be, then that would help eliminate some of the disconnect so that everyone still feels they're a part of the same mission.
And if like one team has one person go to the other team's meeting, like that person can come back the next week and be like, oh, this is what they were doing. They could do that too, potentially.
Oh yeah, one thing that I forgot about, I don't know if I talked about it with you, Jeremy, but I know I talked about it with Mila, was having a TikTok for Care for Them. I think that we could all have access to it, and we could all just, maybe we should like talk a little before posting just in case, to avoid anything really bad. But I think that we should, give the freedom to talk about Care for Them to really anyone on the team, and to just, I feel like having more people working on it will help grow an audience better.
I support
All
everything.
right.
That sounds good.
So Jeremy basically just recapped should I do another recap, Jeremy?
Yeah, are you
Just
ready
for-
for that recap?
I think so. I mean,
Mila might want something.
oh, sorry, Mila.
So
You-
I was just saying the recap,
Oh, okay.
the one.
The one,
The recap.
right.
We have
Okay,
to filters.
filters, right. Yeah, let's get our filters on. I
Mila,
will,
you said during your report you wanted to touch upon something later. Were you able to do that, or do you want some time with that?
So I kind of did want to talk about what we discussed in our vaccine meeting. I know that we're pushing it back, but just so everybody's on the same page about what we talked about, basically there are two main things that need to get done as a group before actually having this event. I'm sure there are many more, but like these are the main important things. The first is coming up with a list of vaccine myths that we are going to use in one of the sections of our event, which will be like a myth debunking true false thing. So basically that's our first task, coming up with a list of vaccine myths. Our second task is making a plan for advertising, making like a calendar for that, making Canva posts and whatever else, reaching out to people directly, coming up with a target audience, like everything that goes into advertising is our second task. So basically, what we were thinking is we should have the coordination team split up into two groups. And these groups can have like different deadlines and sort of work within themselves to either come up with the first list of myths or come up with an advertising plan. So like more information to come about that after we like sort all this other stuff out about splitting the whole coordination team up. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work with this, but I think we'll figure that out as that happens. So yeah, that's kind of just what we discussed.
okay. So now that I'm upside down, maybe I should turn myself back. I think it'll be kind of hard to focus. But how do I do? I actually forgot how I did this. How did I do it? Uh-oh. How did I do it? Oh, there it is. Okay. That was a close call. So basically this week we talked about our, we started by making sure everyone had gotten more people to fill out the survey, and we have. We're relatively sure that a curriculum is a good idea as a solution, although there's still more work to be done on that. We have decided to split up into a founding team and a solution-oriented team, but we've also been talking about how to keep ourselves from separating completely and how we can still work together. And with that, it means less defined weekly meetings, more just convenience for whatever the specific group is. Also, I think yeah, that was the main juice of the meeting. And I wanted to encourage everyone to work on the Spark curriculum because I think that's super important. Just before we go. Yeah. All right, I can end the meeting now. The recording. How do I?